Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you a short tutorial on one of my favorite study tools, and that is Quizlet.com. So to use this tool, what you're going to want to do is open up a new browser and go to Quizlet.com. I am going to be automatically logged in because I use it quite often. There's a login option up here, or if you've not used it before, there will be a create an account option. And it's just like every other website. You can create an account using your Google, your Facebook, or just your email. So whichever one of those works for you. So if you want to create a new study set for a class, you can click on Create up here in the left corner. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to do a short Quizlet over the parts of a cell. Keep in mind these options here. If you, for some reason, don't want everyone to be able to access your Quizlet, you can set it to just you or people with the password. This might be helpful if a teacher doesn't like people being able to share Quizlets. And just to avoid any trouble with that, you can set it to where you are the only person that can view it or edit it. So just keep that in mind if you need to change those default settings. So all you have to do is go down here and enter the first term that you want in your study set. I'm going to type in cell membrane. And a really cool function that Quizlet has added recently is that they compile some of the most common definitions for any given term. And if any of these recommended definitions match the definition that you are going to put in, you can just click on it and save some time because you don't have to type it in yourself. If they're not exactly the wording you're looking for, though, you can just delete that and type in your own definition. Another really cool function, especially for terms like these ones with the parts of the cell, you can click on this image option here and it will show you some recommended images that you can use for your flashcards. I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. Whenever you are doing this, though, try to keep in mind that you don't want the picture that you choose to have the term on it, because you can also upload your own pictures, but try to make sure that you don't put the term on the picture because that's going to be on the definition side and that will just give away the answer. All right, so you have to have at least 2 terms for a set. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter a few more terms real quick so that we can go over some of the study options. Just going to do this quickly. And let's do ribosomes. Side of protein synthesis, and let's go with this picture. All right, and once you have all of the terms that you want to add, you can click on Create. I have done Quizlets with over 100 terms. It doesn't seem like there is any limit for how many terms you can have, so that's pretty helpful. So anyway, click on Create, and it's going to take you to this page. It's going to pop up to ask if you want to share it. If you have any friends that are in the same class and you want to share your Quizlet with them, you can do that. Or you can add it to a class or folder. If you use Quizlet for one class in particular pretty often, you can create a folder so that all of your Quizlets for that class are in one location, which is pretty helpful. I'm not going to worry about that right now. So it's going to take you to the main page where you have the flashcards. So all you do is click on it and it'll flip it over. You can kind of quiz yourself, see if you can say the definition without looking, and use that as your own little study guide, just as if you were using index cards physically. You can just use this function like that. My favorite function is probably the learn function right here. It's going to give you the definition, and it's going to give you multiple choice where you can pick which term matches the definition, and you're going to have to answer each term correctly twice for it to be considered mastered, and that's a really good way to make sure that you really do know your terms well before you take an exam. There's also the write study option where it's going to give you the definition and you have to type the term and it'll tell you if you're correct or incorrect, and you can practice in that way. The spell function I don't use very often, but if you are in a foreign language class or an English class in which you're working on spelling,
cell membrane,
this could be a pretty cool function to use. If you heard that, basically it says the term
cell
out loud,
membrane,
and you have to type it, and it will tell you if you have spelled it correctly. So that's pretty cool, especially if you're in a foreign language class. If you want to just test yourself, there is a test function, and it will give you written questions, some multiple choice questions, and also some matching questions that you can use to help you prepare for an exam. And a lot of people really like these functions. There are some games that you can play. The match game, you have the terms and the definitions on the screen, and you can drag them around, and you're going to put the term over the definition, and it will get rid of them. It times you, so you can try to beat your own time. You can try to beat your friend's time. A pretty cool function, pretty interesting way to study. And the last study option is the gravity game, which is also pretty cool. Basically, you can select your difficulty, and with all of the options, you can star certain terms that you miss pretty often or that kind of thing, and you can focus your studying on those terms, which is helpful. For this, I'm just going to click on all. The definitions are going to be on these asteroids that are headed towards your planet, and to get rid of the asteroids, you are going to have to type the term there. All right, so those are all of the study options. Down here, it can give you some insight into how well you know certain terms. It will tell you how often you answer the questions correctly or how often you miss the questions, and that can help you to decide what terms you need to star and focus your studying on. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you know enough on how to use Quizlet for any upcoming tests that you may need some help studying on. So good luck, and thank you for listening.